What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here, founder of Expedition Money. And one of the questions that I got is, Pete, what do you think about going to conferences? And they didn't specify any conference in particular. I know there are some pretty headline conferences these days like FinCon, which is about more influencers in the money space. But there are a ton of conferences that get very specific. There's a financial literacy conference, a financial coaching conference, and an annual conference on financial education and financial educators and financial therapy. There are a number of conferences that get into specifics like investing and investing during retirement and market neutral investing and insurance products as investments and college planning and all sorts of different things. You can go to conferences just on tax strategies and tax law changes. What I would say here is that I love conferences. I love going to conferences. That does not necessarily mean I love showing up and sitting in every session throughout all of the conference, but there are many conferences that are 2 or 3 days. And there are maybe 3 or 4 really home run sessions that I enjoy. One of the big things that I really love about conferences is that at the very beginning, you're probably getting really leveled up. You're getting a lot of information. It's like being fed with the fire hose. But at some point in your career, a lot of it is going to be a retread. A lot of it's going to be review, which is also very helpful. But you're probably going to find fewer and fewer nuggets, fewer and fewer revelations, eureka moments that you can bring back to your practice. Now, what I will say is that if I can find 1 or 2 of those, or have a really great idea for my next book, or for a video, or a program, or a course, that's usually time well spent for me because it's not necessarily easy to just stumble on new ideas. And so when I hear about someone doing something and I hear about some data and you start putting it together in a way that works with your talents, then you can really start innovating. And I understand conferences have some expenses. It's not just the cost of going to a conference. Many of these are only maybe $199. Some of them are usually $899 to $1,000 to $2,000. I've gone to conferences that are $3,900. So there's the cost of registration, but then there's the cost of going and participating and going to some of the mixers and getting a hotel and a flight and maybe a car and some entertainment and whatever. But if you can get to conferences, I would highly recommend it. I generally try to go to 4 conferences a year. It just is a way that I can prevent myself from burning out on conferences. But in some years, it's maybe 3. Some years, maybe I'll go to 5 or 6. I will also say, just because of the varied businesses that I'm in now, I'm not always just going to financial conferences. I'm going to some video conferences and creator conferences, as well as some industry and financial wellness conferences that are a little higher level or more about program design. But I really love them all. And while sometimes 90% of them are a retread or useless to me, some of them, the majority of the information is new to me. And while I do try to optimize which conferences I go to maximize how much information I'm getting out of it, that's really not the point. The point is that even sometimes the bad conferences I go to can actually yield me a lot of information about what not to do or things to avoid or things that I'm doing that now I've seen I don't really like and I can correct. So no matter what conference I go to, there's usually something that I can get out of it. And that's why I really like going, because they're a great place to get that spark and that inspiration. If you're just staying at home all the time, you're just reading emails, you're not really getting that dynamism of people talking about what they're doing, sharing specific ideas, and hopefully sparking some great ideas in your own mind for your own program. So I try to go to as many as possible. And especially if you find a couple that have really great speakers or programs, you can make that an annual thing. But I would also try to branch out and maybe find some conferences that are maybe just a little bit outside of what you're doing, maybe in investments or maybe in retirement planning or whatever, so that you get just a little bit of a different take on things as well to stretch, to expand your talents as well. So hopefully that helps. I'll see you later.